Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those of you who don't already know me, or for those of you who are on my channel for the first time, hi, my name is Yasmeen. So as you guys can tell by the title, today we are going to be talking about my top 20, I don't know why I did this, my top 20 Netflix suggestions of 2021. So I mean, right now in Montreal there isn't much to do outside because of lockdown and curfew and the weather obviously, so I've pretty much just been binge watching a bunch of Netflix shows for the past couple months, and I'm pretty sure you guys are doing the same thing, so I just thought I would suggest my top binge-worthy shows. I split the shows into different genres slash categories. So we have comedy slash easy watches, drama, crime fiction, reality TV, animation, and then family friendly slash teen shows. For those of you who are only interested in specific genres or categories, you guys can check out the timestamps down below in the description box. Before I get started, I just wanted to say I post new videos every single Tuesday, so make sure you hit the subscribe button down below or the bell notification button so you guys get notified every single time I make a post. Grab some snacks, grab some bubble tea or something, because this video is going to be long. So first category, we have comedy slash easy watches, and these are the type of shows that I tend to rewatch so many times because I just prefer like comedy or easy watches. But anyways, my number one favorite show ever is Modern Family. This show reinvented family comedies. It's so good. So it's basically about this huge family with like an unusual type of dynamic, or like a unique dynamic you could say, and what makes this show so good is that it has its own style. So it's really funny in its own way, like in an unusual kind of way. Like when I first watched it, I didn't like it, but then I gave it a chance and it really grew on me. Like I've literally rewatched this show so many times, and I definitely think it's going to be one of those classics like Friends or How I Met Your Mother, but better. So second, we have One Day at a Time, and I'm surprised there aren't more people that know about this show because it's so freaking good. So basically there was an older version of this show, like the original version, made in 1975. So this version on Netflix is like reinvented. So basically it's about 3 generations of this Cuban American family that all live together, and what makes this show so good is not just the fact that it's so freaking funny, but it also touches on a lot of important social issues, and I think that's obviously really important. Yeah, it's a type of show that can really make you laugh, but at the same time can really make you cry, and I think that's like also one of the reasons that I love watching it, because you feel like you're on a roller coaster of emotions, you know, if that kind of makes sense. But number 3, we have Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So if you guys don't already know this, what are you doing? You should start watching it. This is like a classic. It's the same as One Day at a Time in the sense that it makes you laugh a lot, but it also makes you cry. So basically the main character is Will Smith, and he pretty much just plays himself in the show, and the whole story is about how Will Smith grew up in Philly, and then his mom sent him to go live with his rich family in Bel Air. And I think what makes this show so good is not just the fact that it's so freaking funny, but it's the fact that each actor really like embodies their role, you know, like they really become their character, and I think that's makes all the difference, because there are so many times where you'll find amazing shows with the best storylines, but they're executed so badly just because the actors just don't know how to act, you know, or they just don't know how to like embody the role. Number 4, we have Never Have I Ever. So this is more of like a comedy drama, and I feel like this is the type of show you would want to watch when you feel like watching a teen movie, you know what I mean? I feel like we all have those moments when we want to watch something that's very high school, if that makes sense, and I feel like this is the perfect show for that. So basically it's about this first generation Indian American who wants to spruce up her social status. So obviously it's the cliche, she's the nerdy kid, she has a crush on the hottie on the swim team, but at the same time she's also dealing with personal things in her life, like her dad's death and her ability and losing her ability to walk and like all of this stuff. But it's so good. It's such a good mix of like drama and comedy and family and love and high school, and I don't know, it's kind of like a throwback show but modern, you know, if that makes sense. Lastly, for comedy, we have That 70s Show. So this is the first sitcom that I ever watched, and it was the same thing as Modern Family in the sense that I didn't like it in the beginning. Like, I thought it was just kind of like a try-hard show, but it really grows on you once you watch it. It's basically just about these teenagers living in the 70s, and it has all the classic characters, like the nerdy boy who has a crush on the hot redhead next door, the stoner friend, the dumb friend, the foreign friend, the spoiled rich kid. Like, it just has the perfect mix of all the cliches and the classics, but it's executed so well. And I think what I like most about this show is that it's so relatable. Like, it's so casual. It's just about teenagers in the 70s, you know? It makes a lot of sense, and at the same time it has such sarcastic humor, and that's my favorite type of humor. But yeah, anyways, next we are moving on to drama. Okay, so first up for drama we have The White Slave, and the actual show is called La Esclava Blanca. I totally butchered that pronunciation, but anyways, this is hands down the most addicting series of all time. So it takes place in the 1800s, and it's all about slavery. So basically the story revolves around this white orphan who was taken in by a black family who were also slaves at the time, and then she gets torn away from her family for years and years, and then she returns to come find them and find her one true childhood love. But it's so crazy, it's so good. The thing about this show is that it isn't just drama, but it's truly so heavy because it feels so real. Like, some people say that it is based on a true story, so it might be real, but yeah, there is a lot of violence, so it might be hard to watch. But yeah, if you aren't sensitive to violence and stuff like that, I 100% would recommend you watch it because it's so worth it. So second, we have The Crown. So this is more historical drama. So I don't know much about the royal family. I don't know much about their history, and I kind of wanted to learn more about it. So I started watching The Crown because basically the entire show is about the royal family and the history of the crown and all of that. And let me tell you guys, the acting is incomparable. It's insane. Like, just yesterday I heard that they won 4 Golden Globes because of how amazing the acting is in that show. So up till now it's just 4 seasons, and what they do is in every season it's a different time period in history where they talking about a different like story in the royal family. So in every season they change the actors, you know, because like they're getting older and like things like that. Okay, so third we have another classic, and this is Gossip Girl. Oh my god, this show shaped my childhood. Basically, it's all about these 4 rich teenagers who live in the Upper East Side in New York City, and basically there's someone named Gossip Girl who has the Gossip Girl website, and what she does is she follows them, she knows their every single move, she exposes them, she spreads all their secrets, she starts rumors, she basically ruins their lives and ruins their reputations. And the whole show is kind of also revolved around them trying to find her, or like them trying to figure out who she is or take her down. And it's so crazy. And it truly teaches you about like how money influences your life and how people can ruin your reputation. It's so crazy. It's so good. Everyone should watch this. Oh my god, for those of you who have watched this show, let me know in the comments down below. Do you guys prefer Chuck or do you guys prefer Nate? I'm so team Chuck all the way. Oh my god. Okay, anyways, lastly in this category we have The Fosters. Oh my god, this is such an old show, but I just finished watching it like this month. So basically, this show is about this teen named Callie, and her mom died when she was younger, so her and her younger brother, they were put into the foster care system, and they had such a difficult life, and then they finally ended up with this amazing family, but she was still facing so many obstacles because she creates so much drama for herself in her life, but at the same time there's just drama all around her. So one of the main things that revolves around the entire story is that her and her foster brother fall in love with each other. Okay, but I'm not gonna say anything else because I don't want to spoil the show for you guys, obviously. But yeah, overall, I love this show. I think it's really good. I think it has a good storyline, but I don't love all the actors. Like, I think there are 2 or 3 really good actors, but I don't think everyone is so great, but I still would recommend this show. Okay, so next we are moving on to crime fiction. So my first suggestion is a must watch, and it's called Prison Break. So basically it's about this guy who's framed for murder, and then he goes to prison and he's put on death row because he killed someone important, and then basically his brother named Michael Schofield breaks into prison to break his brother out, and he does this by tattooing the entire blueprints of the prison all over his body, but it's done in secret code so only he can understand it, and it's so good. And what makes this show so good is that like usually in crime fiction shows, like you can predict what's gonna happen, or sometimes you kind of have a feeling like you know where the show is going, but with this show I swear it was so impossible for me to predict like what was the next move. Like, that's because Michael Schofield in the show, he's crazy genius. Like, it's such a smart show, and it really makes you think, and I don't know, that's what I just like about this show so much. And I'm the type of person, I like easy watches, like I don't get too invested into shows, but this is the type of show like I can sit and watch all day long. I love it. It's so good. Oh my god, for you guys who've already watched it, let me know in the comments down below, like, what do you guys think of Michael Schofield? I literally was so obsessed with him. Like, I literally dressed up as Michael Schofield for character day in high school because I love this show so much. Okay, so second we have How to Get Away with Murder. So I watched this a really long time ago, so I don't remember much about it, but I remember loving it. So basically it's about this criminal defense lawyer, and she's also a professor, so she has these students, and somehow they all end up involving themselves in a murder. Basically the whole story is them trying to get away with murder, and it's not just the storyline that makes it so good. It teaches you so much about how karma will always get to you, and it teaches you about judgment and loyalty and secrets, and it's just, there's so much to take away from this show, and I love it. It's also one of those shows that can make you think. The next show is called You. So I'm pretty sure you guys have already heard of this show. For those of you who haven't, it's basically a psychological thriller. I just realized, should this be in the crime fiction section? I don't know, but anyway, it's basically the same thing. But it's basically about this guy who's a stalker, and he falls in love with these girls, and he stalks them, he finds a way to be with them, and when they find out like what he did, or when they find out the truth about him, like he's a stalker, he's basically crazy, everything goes to shit. Like, their lives get ruined, and it's so crazy good, but it's also so scary. Like, not scary in the horror movie type of way, but scary in the sense that this can literally happen to anyone. Like, I'm not gonna lie, sometimes when I'd be watching this show, I'd get like kind of triggered, you know? So I don't know, I just feel like for people who have like anxiety, or if you feel like you can get triggered easily, then try to avoid watching this show. But I love this show. Okay, so the fourth show in this category is called Suits. So this show is so good. It's basically about this college dropout who has a photographic memory, and he ends up working for the biggest law firm in New York, and he's basically working with the most talented lawyers in the entire city. And this show is kind of crazy because he's able to solve these impossible cases because of his photographic memory, but at the same time he's kind of like living this double life because he never graduated college. Like, he's not really a lawyer, like he lied about all of that stuff, so he's basically a fraud but at the same time a lawyer. Again, when it comes to crime fiction, like sometimes you can predict what happens, but this is one of those shows that it makes you think. Like you always think like, ooh, what's gonna happen next? So lastly in this genre we have Lucifer. So I feel like I like the idea of this show more than the show itself. So basically it's about Lucifer Morningstar, the actual devil, and how he comes up from hell to live in LA and run his own club. And basically what he does is he punishes evil and he grants people favors, but at the same time along the way he ends up becoming a consultant for the LAPD. So he's partnered up with this detective, and then he ends up falling in love with the detective, and that basically creates the whole meaning for the show, because the whole idea of it is like, how can the devil fall in love, you know? How can the devil have feelings for a human being, type of thing like that. And the whole show is all like supernatural activity and devil and angels and God and prophets and history and and it's so crazy. There's so many like amazing things to this storyline, and I really like it. I think what I like most about it is that there's so much more you can take from it. Like I feel like every episode kind of teaches you a lesson in a way. There are just so many underlying meanings to everything that's happening, because at the same time it relates to like something that's real, you know, something that people actually believe in. It is crime fiction, but at the same time it has a lot of comedy, so it's quite entertaining. But yeah, there's a lot of times where I'm like binge watching it, and sometimes I would just like have it playing in the background. But overall I do really like this show. Again, I feel like I like the idea of the show more than the show itself. I don't know if that makes sense, but I feel like once you guys watch it, that you guys will understand. Okay, so the next category is reality TV. So the first suggestion in this category is one of my favorite shows called Selling Sunset. Oh my god, if you guys haven't already watched it, go watch it right now. So basically it's all about the drama that happens behind the scenes at this brokerage in Los Angeles. And what makes this show so glamorous is that it's all about the real estate market in parts of LA where only the richest of the rich live. So the houses that you see are just crazy good, but at the same time there's just so much drama happening in the background that it's so entertaining. Like it's kind of like high school drama, but with older, blonder, meaner girls. Second, we have The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. I know this is so old, but this is like the perfect example of old but gold. Like this is such a good show. If you guys haven't already watched this show, like what are you even doing? So I binge watched this show back when I was in Dubai, but then when I came back to Montreal I saw that it wasn't available on Netflix Canada. So I don't know if it's just not on Netflix Canada, but I know that there's The Real Housewives of like New York and Atlanta and all of that, and I haven't watched those. So if you guys have, let me know in the comment section down below if they're actually good, so if I should start watching them. Okay, so the next category we have is animation. So I know there's a lot of good animated series out there, but honestly I've only started watching one and I think it's so good. It's called BoJack Horseman. So overall, like what I have to say about this show is that it's really weird. So basically it's about this world where there are humans and then there's like half humans, half animals, or like animal-like humans, and they all live in this world together. And this main character is this horse called BoJack Horseman, and he has this chaotic drug addiction, and it basically shows how he makes a mess of his life and a mess of the lives of other people, but it's balanced really well with humor. I don't know, I just think it's the show that you're supposed to watch under the influence of some sort of substance or something, because it's just so trippy. Like I don't know how to explain it. You know, and sometimes you have random thoughts, or like you think weird things, or you feel weird things, or like, but like you obviously don't express them out loud, or sometimes there's something that just passes your mind in 1 second. But this show like portrays all of these things that you never express out loud, or you don't feel out loud, or you don't say out loud. Like it's so weird. Like I just don't know how to explain it, but it's so good. Like, it's so good. Like, it's so addicting. Okay, so the last category we have is the family friendly slash teenage show category, and we actually only have one show in this category, so this is my last suggestion, and it's called Alexa and Katie. So basically this show is so Disney but for teens. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but you know when sometimes you want to watch something that's Disney but it isn't so like Disney. Yeah, this is the show for that. So basically it's all about these two teenagers, Alexa and Katie. So Alexa has cancer and she's basically battling cancer throughout high school, but she has her quirky and optimistic and like bubbly best friend Katie by her side. Yeah, it's just one of those shows that's like super cute and super heartwarming, and I personally like to have it in the background like while I'm working or while I'm like editing a video or something, because it's nice in the sense like it's comforting, like it's heartwarming, but it's not something that I'm like super invested in, you know? But anyways guys, that is the end of today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed recording it. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys have already watched these shows and what you think of them, or what shows sound the most interesting to you and that you're going to start watching. But yeah, as always, if there's any type of video you guys ever want me to do, make sure to put it in the comment section down below. And again, as always, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure to subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week.